We're coming up on World AIDS Day, and our producer asked me to do an editorial about AIDS. But that's such a big story. All the wonderful people we lost, activists and artists, and decent everyday people just getting their lives together, and all the politicians and religious leaders who were indifferent to what was going on, or thrilled that the gays were finally being punished, and the people who were willing to help, even though they risked their reputations and their jobs, and it's all too much for an editorial. I just want to talk about Jerry. Jerry was the first friend I lost to AIDS. Now I'm going to have to change some of the names and details because people deserve their privacy. But one name I won't change is Kim's. Kim is my husband. Yesterday we celebrated our 31st anniversary, so I don't think he'll mind if I out him a little. Back then, this was the early 1980s, Kim was working for a large, well-known tech company. I'll call that Acme Corporation. We got a call from our doctor, Dr. Gordon, who had an AIDS patient named Jerry, who also worked at Acme. The company's insurance refused to cover Jerry's drugs because they were experimental. Everything was experimental back then. Dr. Gordon wanted to know who to talk to, and Kim gave him some ideas. Ultimately, Dr. Gordon called the CEO's office and said, "Is this what Acme wants to be known for? Because I can go to the press." And that solved that problem. And that's how we met Jerry, a sweet guy who was having good days and bad days. Jerry had lived a very closeted life, and his friends were also closeted gay men. And when his illness forced him to come out, his friends got scared and disappeared. But his family, his devout, loving Italian Catholic family, that was another story. His parents and sister moved in to take care of him, and they got radicalized real quick. You should have seen their anger against indifferent politicians and homophobic religious leaders and the Acme Corporation. It was inspiring. They asked us to help out with Jerry, just be his friends really, and we were glad to do it. Sometimes we took him out to dinner or to the movies. Even when your family is being wonderful, you have to get away from them every now and then, right? Jerry was a great guy with a good sense of humor, and we were only sorry that we hadn't known him earlier, that it took AIDS to bring us together. After a while, he got too sick to go out. He spent all his time in bed. We would go over and just sit, hold his hand, and hang out with the family. When he died, they asked us to be pallbearers. We had never done that before in our lives. It was hard. It was an honor. There were about 100 family members at the funeral, and us. Afterwards, there was this reception with lots of good food. Did I mention they were Italian? So why am I talking about Jerry 20 years later? Certainly not to make me and Kim look like heroes. We didn't do all that much. Maybe I just want to remember him, to thank him for being our friend. Or maybe I just want to say that for all the statistics, the number dead, the number infected, the projections for the future, each person with AIDS is a human being with a life and a family and people who care about them. AIDS is not history. It's going on right now. We need to keep up the fight. Things have changed. There are good treatments, and many people are living longer, healthier lives. But people are still getting infected every day. Gay people and straight people, here and in Africa and everywhere else. And many are still suffering and still dying. People, just like my friend Jerry.